What it is, what is up, what is good, gamers? This is Shona71, aka Digadulamite,
That purple bling bling, yo.
and your auditory canals tuned into episode 273 of the Gaming Vessels podcast. And I'm not in the digital studio alone. Along with me, I got my partners in crime. First on deck is Dez, aka the Bay Area Terror, aka the High Res Hater,
That's me.
aka the Cat Daddy, aka that Gamer Stepdaddy. What's going on?
Hey, not much as always. Just happy to be here talking about, as always, the things that we love, and that be gaming. So, yes, and my two partners in crime got me in here, breaking the law, playing games. But it's great. I love it.
Breaking what laws?
Of course, our show is a no-go without Trader Joe, aka Jabroni Chief.
Yeah. That's what I say here. Yeah. That's my cue. Yeah.
But you might also know him as the Food Max of gaming, who can maximize your gaming dollar. What's going on, man?
Not much. Just got back. Went to the movies today. I was trying to maximize my gaming dollar this week, but everything is all quiet on the Target front, unfortunately. So no more Target clearance to be seen. So
That's probably a good thing.
it's probably a great thing. I don't want to even waste my time. It's just I think of those glory years of walking into Circus City with Kev and like looking at all the treasures and going from blockbuster to blockbuster. Good old. I'm trying to Game Rush, and then of course,
Hollywood Video
with their Game Crazy and all this craziness. So all the games that Target had on clearance last week, I saw on the racks, they went into salvage more than likely. So. So they had I think the one Target I went to a week and a half ago had 40 copies of Star Wars Squadrons for some reason on PlayStation 4, and obviously
so many.
I don't know. Another Target I went to had I think about 50 copies of Call of Duty Vanguard for PS4. So it's
so many.
And they were selling them. Call of Duty Vanguard was selling for $17.99, $17.98 or whatever it was. So it's it was if it was $1.78, maybe.
Of course, dude. Come on.
Maybe just for the case, so I have an extra case or two.
Wow.
But yeah, that's game clearance is done. But John BT did get his Final Fantasy 16 and his Advance Wars 1 and 2 and. It's always good every now and then to just, be able to get some games on the cheap physically on there. It's a little bit different than shopping in the store, digital store. So,
yeah,
I'm going to miss it, once physical gaming is out the door. So we'll see.
I don't think you'll ever go away, but that's a topic for another that's a conversation for another day.
Of course.
Yeah, I think it'll be around as long as that's just how I feel. I don't know if that's how I feel or if that's just what I'm hoping deep down. As I'm a dinosaur looking at the giant asteroid coming down, seeing the time coming to an end. But we're going to move on to what is always our first topic on the docket, and we've got our playlist coming at you. So let's kick things off with Jabroni. What you been playing this week, man?
Got into the Sonic Racing Cross Worlds closed beta on there, and it was it's okay. I played a couple of rounds, and it was just one thing where it was just kind of too crazy as far as all the add-ons and little, layers of tricks and stuff with the specific characters. For one thing, acceleration wasn't even on the right trigger. We didn't even support analog acceleration. The acceleration was on A, and then you're using the trigger to do drifting. So it's just like after that point, it's like
That's very odd. That's
yeah,
an
it's
It's
odd
just
very
layout.
odd.
yeah, I'm hoping they work to make the game a little less hectic and a little bit more racery because I dabbled a little bit with the Sonic All Stars Racing Transform that came out like about what 12 years ago,
That was
and
very good.
it's a very good game. I could go back. It's on my Steam backlog, so it's like it's like I don't know as far as what they're going with here, but it just seems like it's just not making the market. At least, I mean, for me to be able to be excited to get into this um, beta and then basically drop off it after a couple of rounds, it's just like,
That's
but
unfortunate because I was hoping it would be the second coming of Transform, but apparently it seems like it's not.
yeah, I think if they work it through, it's the point that maybe they'll have a game at some point. But to me, the bones are there. I know they're trying to basically go in and test the internet capability of the servers and that kind of thing. And had a couple of rounds where I dropped actually. So
Mhm.
it was just like, we'll see. Yeah, I don't know as far as if the beta's over. I might go and fire it up one more time just to kind of see. But it just I wasn't really digging it, to tell you guys the honest truth. So there's so many other games to play. There's so many even kart racers I could go to play there in my backlog that, it's not like those games ever get old. It's like, it seems like they're adding just too much to the formula where it just seems like, it seems like someone just got a big ass bowl of milk and mixed in Fruity Pebbles, Cocoa Pebbles, and all sorts of other cereals. And it's just one big sugary, pulpy mess, basically, it seems like with that game. So
Just makes you sick.
yeah, something like that. It's got to kind of figure things out. I want that sweet spot. I want an arcade racer back, for God's sake. I want someone to make a game comparable to like Ridge Racer 7 or something. So that's what I would like to see, or a new Sega arcade racer on here. I know this Sonic game, it's not developed by Sumo Digital. It's done by Sega internally. So we'll have to see. Let's see as far as how it comes out. But you know, I know one thing that I read about is that there's going to be other characters in this game besides Sonic characters. So that might give me a glimmer of maybe trying this game, especially if there's other Sega characters, like I think one of the stages had some Afterburner music, and you were like actually flying over a air hangar on there. Another thing too, it's like whoever's in first place gets to select the switch the map, and so the map switches within each lap on there. And so there are some flying elements to the game too. So you go between a regular kart racer and go flying in one lap and going through a bunch of loop-de-loops and all this other stuff, rings and so on and so forth. So there was just a lot going on. I think maybe if I gave it a little bit more time, give it just a little bit more
Didn't Diddy
time.
Kong Racing do that too?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Hmm.
So, I mean, if I'm gonna look at this game, or probably look at Mario Kart 9 and on the Switch 2, I'm probably looking more forward to playing the new Mario Kart, to tell you the God's honest truth. So, and that's a good old standby, but I'm sure there'll be enough innovation, but it's something to where it just doesn't seem like a whole slice of chaos from the beginning. So but that's my overall impressions of that. And the other beta I downloaded but haven't really even played yet, and I'm kind of curious about, is the Fatal Fury City of the Wolves beta.
Woohoo.
So I don't know as far as if I'm able to still get in, but I'm probably going to buy it day one regardless. But obviously, if I'm super hyped for it, I'm not even checking out the beta. I don't even know why I should be buying it, to tell you guys honestly.
Because a beta, that's one of the things that I no don't. That's why I didn't really play the Monster Hunter beta. I'm already gonna buy it.
Yeah, for
Why?
sure.
Why play the beta if I already know I'm gonna buy it? Just chill. Go play
Yeah,
something else until it comes out. Let those feelings marinate for it.
you
You
got
know.
it. I was playing Fatal Fury. I was playing a Real Bout 2 at Nick's on Saturday. So
Yeah, there you go. You know.
yeah, so I actually fired up his Neo Geo. I was playing some Real Bout 2, and that's been a hot minute since I played some Real Bout 2 because I believe it's on one of the PS2 Fatal Fury collections on there. But I remember playing it back in the day with you, Kev, when I had my CDZ, my Neo Geo CDZ, and I hate the fact that game, even though I love Real Bout and Real Bout Special so much, we didn't really get a good time with that game just because of the fact that they never released a Saturn port for that particular Neo Geo game, that particular game. So I never had really an opportunity to really sit down. I did have an opportunity when I had my ZDZ, but it's like if you don't have a home port for something, unless it's on a later compilation, it's just like kind of missed opportunity with that game. So
yeah, kind of asked out. But I did play a lot of Borderlands 3 this week, a lot with UDES on here, so and enjoying that quite a bit. We've gotten further in the campaign than my last playthrough on there, so we're about, I think, chapter 10, I think? I think we're in 11.
11, okay. Yeah, and then, I've been Des has been busy doing some RPGing and some other stuff, and so I've been playing a little bit by myself, but I haven't progressed the story at all. What I have been doing is playing the arms race mode. So the arms race mode in Borderlands 3 basically is a procedurally generated map where you go into. It's like a battle royale type, but you're not playing against other players.
It's a horde mode.
It's basically horde mode there. So it's like
the boss.
Yeah, and I've gotten kind of used to the whole way that mode is set up. And so you start the mode basically with nothing. You have no guns, you have no armor, you don't have anything. So at the beginning, I'm just basically just running around like a chicken without a head. I do have grenades, but as soon as I engage with grenades, I get shot at. And so it's like I'm just on the hope of if I kill someone, maybe a gun will drop, and that's like
you can find chests too.
Yeah, no, it's a point that I eventually do find chests. In fact, basically the map itself is static, so you get to learn the map a little bit if you play the mode more and more. And so there's particular areas where there are chests available just to pick up like a regular gun, and there's also other areas where there's like a particular couple of really good legendary gun chests, but obviously it's guarded by a bunch of enemies. And so if you do happen to discover any one of those areas and you trigger the switch to be able to bring on the horde, you got to fight the horde to get the goods on here. And so ultimately what happens is that you have a circle that's like Fortnite or any other battle royale. It's like encompassing the map, and so if you kind of wait too long, things get a little bit too hairy as far as you don't have a lot of room to wiggle before you get to the boss on here. So I've gotten to where I've done, I think, of 4 successful arms race so far. You're able to extract, once you beat the boss, up to 7 weapons each time, and so I've basically equipped my character with weapons I could use in the regular game, a bunch of legendaries. So I have a bunch of legendary weapons. And even I have like a Beastmaster mod too. That's legendary that drops. So I've been having fun waiting for Dez to hop back in so we could, beat more of the campaign. But now I'm like learning a little bit more about the minutia, a little bit of the game, a little bit more. And I've been finding too that, before
super
I'm
high
always
level than me too.
Well, what you have to look at is what I kind of found is that even the gray weapons, I found some gray weapons that I pick up just because of the fact I'm scrambling looking for a gun or something to shoot with. That some of these weapons are pretty badass, even if they're gray, even if they're just regular normal weapons, especially with the perks and everything that they kind of offer. I've gotten kind of more used to shotguns in this mode too, because you kind of have to basically stick with what you get, but I could tell you
at you, right?
You got it. Yeah, I could tell you, even even playing this mode, most Malawan weapons are ass. They're the ass of the ass.
Yeah, Malweb's
Most
terrible. Yeah.
Malawan weapons are usually like charge weapons. They're all like you're sitting there and holding the button down, and just the way the weapon reacts and everything. It just doesn't feel immediate in your.
They are terrible.
You got it. I mean, I see. Oh, I got a legendary Malawan weapon. Oh wait, I'm gonna throw it away.
Yeah, sell that immediately. No, thank you.
Yeah. Ugh. As far as movies, I did go see The Monkey today with my friend Amy. So, I thought it was okay. It wasn't the greatest or anything, but it's a Stephen King movie. So a lot of tongue-in-cheek type horror, if need be. A little bit of gore. It was so thrilling. I fell asleep in the movie. I got nudged once. So
because you were snoring.
I don't know if I was snoring, but obviously I ran out of caramel popcorn to eat. So obviously that my motivation to stay awake right there.
That was it. Once the caramel's gone, Joe's like, I'm out.
No more crunch and munch. I'm munched. I'm down for the count. Ding 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 ding. So
yeah, I heard the movie was kind of all over the place. So
it was. Yeah, it's just like okay. It's one of those movies where okay, I get the premise and it's stretched out enough, but it's like I'm just waiting for it to get to the end. That way we get to see the conclusion, and there's no specific conclusion. It's just it is what it is.
Of course, so. you gotta have maybe a sequel. Yeah.
That no. There shouldn't be a sequel to that movie. I mean, no. Don't have a sequel to that movie. No, it's not a horror movie where like the kids beat the, Candyman or whoever else at the end. Oh, the kids beat Freddy or anything like that. It's not a movie like that. So
just throw the monkey away.
Yeah, but the monkey reappears for whatever reason. So the monkey's omnipotent. So
damn monkey.
Is this a toy or is it a real monkey?
The toy monkey.
It's a toy monkey. Yeah.
Okay.
When it bangs its when it beats its drum, it
someone dies.
It signals, and then it becomes this sort of like weird sort of what was it called? I guess you'd call it a Rube Goldberg. It's sort of like Final Destination.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it becomes this weird Rube Goldberg thing.
By very odd, unusual circumstances.
Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. At one point, the monkey was beating the drum like it was like an old jazz drummer, and of course, one of the main characters in the movie stuck its head out the window and saw the plane crashed. So
you're like, okay, we see where your inspiration lies.
Yeah. Yeah, at one point the monkey beat its drum, and this one character wound up shooting a gun and shooting a wasp nest, and the wasp wound up going in and basically all inside this one guy just decided to go inside and out and eat him from within. Yeah, it's just kind of dumb.
Sure. Okay. Okay.
I did see Captain America with Kev last night, though, and that was very much way more enjoyable. I stayed awake through the entire movie, even though I was all full of, Raising Cane's over here. I got Raising Cane's chicken fingers going out my ears, but I'm still in it to win it with that movie. So it's pretty good.
You're Raising Cane, huh?
Raising Cane, yeah. I went for the Caniac combo, which I never gotten before, and I hate to say it, but I'll never go for the Caniac combo again. That was just too much chicken.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot.
Too much chicken.
Too much chicken, yes. I was hungry, but
that's enough for two people.
You got it. 6 chicken fingers, 1 piece of Texas toast, and extra fries, because I said, the hell with that nasty ass coleslaw. So.
Really?
Yeah. Have you never had Cane's before?
Oh yeah, I've had it before.
Yeah.
It's not bad. I mean, it's
not bad.
It's just chicken fingers.
Yeah, no, chicken fingers. Yeah.
It wasn't bad.
I haven't got the bomb diggity one, but it's like, yeah. And so I was sitting there in the movie and, sitting there belching myself every now and then, just trying to deal with all the gas and all that wonderful business. So, but Captain America, pretty damn good. So we'll have to see where it goes from here as far as if they're going to, spoiler alert, reform the Avengers or not. So, I'm not sure where the storyline is going after this.
I don't know either.
Is there anything in the comics that would kind of
No,
go off?
This was a new story, 100%
Okay.
new story. They were just taking from the past and trying to stitch together something, anything. So,
Yeah.
Wouldn't the Thunder? They could use the Thunderbolts maybe.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, they
Because I
could.
saw that trailer, that looked like it could be interesting. I don't know. It's very odd because I haven't really cared about a Marvel movie in I don't know how long. I think the last one I saw was the first Black Panther, and I really haven't been back since. And Cap was I was mostly curious to see how it would turn out because everybody was just flaming the movie, and I just when so many people are downplaying something, I'm curious to find out how bad it is for myself.
Yeah.
And I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I am a comic tourist, like 100%. I know my opinions on comics don't count for anything because like the last time I picked up a comic book was maybe 30 years ago. So I have not been following the books. Don't care to go back and try and follow the books, but just looking at it for what I go into an action movie for to be entertained, it met that goal perfectly. Now,
Oh, cool.
if you are a diehard Captain America fan, your mileage may vary, but
No, I appreciated the
you know.
movie. I mean, my introduction to Captain America was when I was 7 years old, and I read Captain America and the Falcon, the Jack Kirby run, back in like 75 through I think 77 when Jack Kirby was on that book, and I enjoyed Captain America for a long time actually. Between the U.S. Soldier run, I believe, where Steve Rogers got
Nomad and all them.
replaced. Yeah, so I remember all that. That's when Mark Grunwald was writing the book, I believe. So I mean, back in the 80s, that's my main time with Marvel was during that run on that. So it kind of got to see. I knew the Thunderbolts has the Rogue Captain America in there. So right.
Yes. Yeah.
So
John Walker.
U.S. Patriot, I think.
U.S. agent.
U.S. agent. Okay. So I didn't even know that the Falcon didn't take the super soldier serum until it was revealed in the movie. So it's like that's how up to date I was with the lore and whatnot. I appreciate the fact that they've had the first Captain America in the movie, the
Isaiah Bradley, yeah.
Yeah, I felt like his character, even though he got kind of screwed in the movie, was, resolved at some point. So, spoiler alert again. So, but Kev, what you been up to? What you been playing? What you been doing?
So the only thing I've been playing was Wolong, and I'm saying so long to Wolong.
Oh.
It is not an honest action game. And I was really disappointed because I didn't see this coming earlier. But once I hit that fourth boss, which I was just banging my head against the wall trying to figure out why I wasn't beating this guy, it just added another layer of unfairness that I didn't see, which was covering up the reason why I was sucking at killing that fourth dude. So basically what this game does, it can be an online game where you can invade other people's campaigns. And when you invade a campaign, your character with all your stats will go in, and then you systematically you have to hunt down the other person. Well, even when you're offline, the computer will simulate an invasion. It will simulate an invasion of a player. It is not an online player coming into your game. It is the computer simulating one, and it'll say, "Oh, this elite general such and such is coming to confront you," and it'll play this, this dramatic tone, and then you see this character all bathed in red aura running through the battlefield. You see the name highlighted like you would an online player, and you confront them and you fight them. Now, none of them are particularly difficult, but once I got to the fourth boss, it launched an invasion as I'm engaged with the fourth boss. So the fourth boss is like this, and what's crazy is like I done fought monsters, I done fought dudes that turned into monsters. Some of them were harder than others, but I could at least see where I was going wrong. But fighting this dude, I could not see where I was going wrong. And I kept trying and trying and trying. And then the computer added this invasion aspect to it. So I had to basically play. Okay, once the invasion started, I had to run back to the save point, confront the invader there, and then go back and address the boss, which I thought was stupid. It's like, why are we doing this? And this is not a feature you can turn off in the menu. It is not something that you can stop. It is something that happens periodically. I'm of the opinion that it's on a timer, because what the straw that broke the camel's back was I had got the boss down to like one last critical hit and he'd have been toast. And then the computer executes an invasion. So I'm fighting the boss, and here comes this irritating sucker. Just as I'm about to land the last blow, I get popped from behind by this guy with an unblockable. And I was like, you know what? No, I'm done. But I was thinking and wondering, what was it about this boss when there was no invasion that was causing me to struggle, when the other bosses, who were monsters and had all kinds of crazy, weird attack patterns, didn't give me nearly as much trouble. And I found out what was going on. And this particular boss is like some general in the opposing army. He's considerably bigger than you, but he's not a monster. He's just a big dude in heavy armor with a spear. And I was like, why is this guy cleaning my clock? And the reason why I was getting my clock cleaned was because this game does not allow you to cancel your attack animations with defense. And the reason I never saw that was because none of the other bosses behaved that way. When you landed an attack, the attack hit. If a boss is doing a heavy attack and you landed a light attack, you could interrupt it. The only thing you could not interrupt was an unblockable. And I felt that was fair. But this guy, because he can go into an unblockable at any point within his attack combo, you can't do that. Your character will finish the animation, whether it's an attack, a light attack, a heavy attack, or if it's a combat art. The animation must finish. You cannot interrupt it. And that's why he was cleaning my clock. And the craziness of the simulated invasion kind of cloaked that aspect, because I was so frustrated about, fighting basically two bosses at the same time. It veiled the fact that this was a complete change in the fundamentals of the game up until now. And I was not ready for it. And I didn't think it was fair. It's like, why wasn't this going on before? Very disappointed in the game. I wouldn't discourage anybody from playing Wolong. I think at its core, it's a good game. For me, the change at the fourth level in the core mechanics was just a bridge too far. It's like, don't keep me hanging on this long and then completely change stuff and how your core systems operate, and throw this at me. And it's like, nah, I'm not really with that. So I personally am letting it go. But I wouldn't want to discourage anybody from playing that game. And really, that's the Wolong is really the only thing I played. I didn't get a chance to. Although we will have a Show Enough's Retro Recon, I didn't play anything. Another host is going to be talking about that. But that's really all I played this past week. So I'm gonna pass the mic to Dez. What you been up to, bro?
Okay, well, aside from the aforementioned Borderlands 3 that Joe and I are running through, and which we will beat, like I'm kind of, I know Joe's always, joking with me that I run hot and cold on certain games, and that's just, how it is sometimes, the heart knows what it wants to play, so to speak. So no, but for Borderlands, I'm in it to win it with him. We've gotten pretty far with it, beat our first vault, and the story continues. And even though people didn't really like this story, I'm once we got past Pandora and went to other places, and we were able to actually see what the story is going on. Then yeah, I'm really enjoying it. And I think the main reason, after playing so long, I think the main reason why people like crapped on this game a little bit too hard was because of the central was because of the Calypso twins. They were just shitty characters, and they were unrealized. They thought I think they thought they were being clever by making fun of, online personalities and streamers, and it just wasn't funny. So, but when you take them out of it, it's a pretty good game. Like, I really like the story that was going on and the people you meet and stuff. So, I'm actually having a fun with the story. So, but again, your mileage may vary if you decide to play it again, but I'm enjoying it. So, and maybe I'm a sucker. That's fine too. But yeah, I'm enjoying the story where we're going right now, and
Yeah.
and doing the Typhon de Leon um vault drops and all that stuff. He's like the vault hunter that went through and did all this stuff, and found all this stuff. Like, his story is really adding to what's going on as well. I inadvertently spoiled myself, so I'm a little annoyed by that because I was looking up, Typhon de Leon and stuff. So there's a spoiler that happens, later on in the game, but I'm not going to say it because I don't want to spoil it for Joe, because Joe's really into the game as well. So, but yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I cannot wait to actually like beat it. I think it's going to, like, I really believe that it's going to be like, the ending is going to be, satisfying. So yeah, I'm happy with it. I'm pretty happy. Joe, you were gonna say something?
Oh no, the Calypso twins. I kind of see where their storyline is going. There is some conflict between the brother and sister, so it's like, you could kind of see it from a mile away, and I'm gonna enjoy taking those assholes down, basically. So
Yeah, they really did build them up as complete and utter trash people. So yeah, if you for that, I think the voice actors and everything playing them, like, they did a good job, but I think their job was just a little too good. Because, like, they are just the worst. But again, that's what they're supposed to be. So kudos to them, I guess. But yeah, I'm enjoying playing with Joe. It's been a lot of fun. Kudos to Joe for actually taking the time to not be so, anal with the getting of all the stuff. I really appreciate that.
I thought I've been being a little bit too adamant about picking everything up, but
No, you have actually been a lot less than you normally have been in the
Well,
past.
well
So
the thing
I'm really
about it
happy
is
with that.
you can't work back to go sell, and so it's because of that reason you got to just decide, okay, is it worth it to sit in here? I'd rather just cut bait and either be choosy or to make sure that I know how to get rid of lower cost weapons super quickly.
Yeah.
So, and my goal when I pick up loot is not say, oh, I'm gonna equip all these guns and use them all and see if I like them. It's more like I want to pick up the guns that are more bring more cash because I'm looking to sell to gain a bigger backpack. So that's what my
That way you can get more
goal.
stuff.
Yeah, that way I could
No,
pick up
no,
more stuff efficiently. So
yeah, you definitely have a goal. You definitely have a goal, my friend. So, but yeah, I'm enjoying it. I think it's a fantastic game, and if you have not played it, it's like super cheap. So just go ahead and play it. Have fun, and and work it out. I think you'll enjoy it. It's pretty good. Next game I've been playing. What game is this? Dishonored 2. Yes, I'm actually playing Dishonored 2. I tried playing the first one, but I did not like it. For whatever reason, I think maybe it was because of how antiquated the controls were or how old it was, but I did not like the original. So I just like I downloaded it, played it, was like, this is kind of terrible. And I just deleted it. Like I just like, well, I bought it on like a self, so it was like $5. So or no, I think I have it as part of something else. I don't know. All I know is I got it. I didn't like it. I stopped playing it. It's gone. So and I figured, okay, Arcane, did this, did the second one, and the second one was supposed to have refined a lot of the combat, refined a lot of what was going on. So I said, okay, let's do this. And so far, it's not that bad. I was like, okay, this is actually pretty good. So we'll see how far I go with that. Again, I was just looking for games that I could play that would be really kind of fun, while I'm playing the games. That's one of the things that we want to do is like, play games and kind of have fun with it. So, and I wanted to try different games, that are
outside the
within a
comfort
different
zone,
wheelhouse. What was that?
it's a stealth. It's a stealthier game. So
Yes, you'd hate it, Kevin. It is like, it is. I mean, like it's more stealthy than anything, but you can play it as an actual like action game, but you are incentivized to play it as a stealth title and with stealth takedowns and shit like that. But other than that,
Isn't that the
it's not a,
game where if you kill people, you bring in rats to eat the bodies, and that causes the plague to spread or something like
yeah,
that?
you have
Okay.
to yeah,
Yeah.
you have to balance your your destructive tendencies, so to speak. So
Yeah. 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 I would not play. I actually tried Dishonored 1
oh,
and didn't like it. And I think I tried a demo of Dishonored 2 or either rented it or something. And it's like, I didn't know what I was expecting to be different from the first one, but I didn't like either one because I'm just
um
not a stealth person.
yeah, and that's the thing. Like if you're not a stealth person, then it's probably going to be terrible. And for me, I don't want to say that I'm like 100% like stealth god, but I thought okay, it's a what would be called an alt America, not, oh, sorry, it's an alt Europe. So I'm like, okay, let's go around, let's see what's going on, and if it's fun, maybe I'll continue, and if it's not, no no harm, no foul. I had a little bit of lunch money and I bought the game, for like pennies on the dollar. So it's just like, okay, let's have some fun. Um, Next game that I started playing was Visions of Mana. Okay, so I started playing Visions of Mana because one of the guys that I watch on YouTube, was saying like these are the top games from 2024 or 2025 or one of them, top games that are JRPGs that no one liked but are really good, and so this was on it, and I bought it, and I was like, you know what, let me take a chance at this because I've never played. Well, I have played in the past, but when I say played, like never really sat down and got into the meat of the game. That was the Tales games. Like Visions games. I never really
Mana,
got
you mean?
yeah, the Mana game, the Visions of Mana. Sorry, that's the Mana series, So I never really played any of them. And I remember, Legend of Mana and all the other ones because Joe, was a fan and he had them, and I'll never forget there was this ad on a Famitsu, and it had, I think it was like Secret of Mana or Legends of Mana or one of the Mana, and I always liked the character designs for the Mana games, but for whatever reason, this is back when I was very, very snooty when it came to RPGs, and I was like turn based or nothing, right? So the real time, like the real time fighting, and then the other people in your party would just go off and do their own thing. I didn't like that, because I like to control everything. So the gameplay I never really liked until I got older, and my taste kind of expanded, and I was like, okay, like I'm really missing out on these really good JRPGs, and so I figured let me start with this one. It's supposed to be really good. I bought it. Let's see what's going on. And man, it's a beautiful game. It looks great. Um, a bit simplistic right now, but I think the reason why is because we're still at the beginning of the game. And oh my gosh, the American voices, like, they are your classic, like, cringy anime stuff. And I just met, if you're ever familiar with any of the mana games, there's always a mana tree, and the mana tree gives to the planet that sustains it, and then there's these spirits who are like emissaries of the tree, and you have to like work with them. And there's this weird sort of like sacrifice mechanic where people give themselves to their souls to the mana tree and stuff like that. So that's like the main conflict. And then there's this guy who's running around, and you kind of do a little bit of his story at the beginning, and it ends in tragedy. And then like you start on another, like they're called alms, the people who have to give their lives, and they all seem to be women for some reason. I don't know why, or young girls. And tragedy ends with the earth alms, and so now we're with the fire alms, and you're like a soul guard, and you play as the soul guard named Val, I think it is. Typical, white boy, beautiful hair, very like, oh, I'm so excited, let's go do this, totally drinking the Kool-Aid. And she's like, got this long hair, and just running around, and she's the healer, and just just a very like classical game. So you're running around, and the areas that you go to are pretty big. Like each zone you go to is sort of like the last Dragon Quest game, where you run into an area, and it's like this big area that you can run around and explore, and then you're going to go into another area, and there's another area that's really big that you can explore. So it's sort of like that. So it's not a true open world. It's very linear, at least right now it is. And in the areas are the monsters, and so you run up to the monsters, and then it initiates this active real-time battle. So there's no like cutscenes or anything. Like you literally just run in, and then you start wailing on them. Usually about packs of like 2 to 3, maybe a little bit more, and you start wailing on them with your combos and stuff like that. And you can use magic and everything. And there's supposed to be a really big class system that's supposed to come at some point. So the game is slowly unfolding its many layers so far. And as I'm playing it, it's actually like I like it. Like I like it. It looks great. The character models are, typical anime type of thing. They all look like kids. Like even the adults look like children. So it's like that sort. They all look like dwarves because like the proportions are kind of squat. But it's fun. It's fun. It's everything's rounded, very soft. Everything looks very soft, but But the combat's really fun. It's an action combat, no turn-based. When you have to issue commands, it will pause. So far, though, it's only me and the healer, and I can't really control her. But when I use a spell, it'll pause for you to do targeting, and then you target it, and then you go on and do your combos and stuff like that. So far, it's a really good game. I do think that it is worth. I do think that it's worth buying. I looked up how long to beat. Should take about 25-30 hours to beat. Double that if you want to do everything in the game. Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna beat it or anything. Right now, I'm enjoying it. It's fun. So yeah, I know Joe was talking about. You're talking about Secret of Mana, Joe, or what were we talking about?
Yeah, Secret of Mana is the game I played last year. That was basically
Yeah.
the first Mana game that got released. Actually, the first Mana game was Final Fantasy Adventure on the Game Boy
Yeah.
back in the day on there. And then from there, Secret of Mana. There was also a sequel to Secret of Mana that never was released for the SNES back in the day.
But you can get it on Switch now, right?
It was Senken Densetsu 3, but that's basically, if you look out, it's the game that it's called Trials of Mana that got a remake and eventually re-released out for
Switch, right?
Switch and
Yeah.
for PlayStation 4.
Yeah, I have that one.
So
I have that
Yeah.
one. But I figured, hey, let me try this like Big Daddy one, and then we'll go from there.
yeah,
If I like
there's
this one, then I'll continue.
there's a collection that has like the first two GBA Mana games, and then it has the Secret of Mana on there as well. But there's also a Secret of Mana remake that was brought out for PlayStation 4 and also for PC. I'm pretty sure it got out on the Switch as well. So that's the game I played. And so there's been subsequent like tons of Mana series like sequels, especially on the PlayStation 1 on there. So it's been a off and on a series that Square Enix has gone back to. So this particular version, the Visions of Mana, was co-developed with NetEase, and then of course NetEase collapsed the studio after the game came out. But I found out basically that the studio was halfway through developing the game was told that after the game is over, that pretty much the studio is going to be disbanded anyway. So
yeah, it's sad.
It's what's happening with NetEase, but I'll talk more about that in the news. So
Look at that! Don't you love it when we have things that you can look forward to, everybody? That's called synergy. So, but yeah, that's what I've been playing. I've been talking to Joe a little bit, and this year, and I said this last year, but this year, now that everything is really kind of I'm done with school. I have a job that I really like, and so everything is sort of like that stuff is really sort of okay now. That portion of my life is okay, and I really want to start, doing things that I more things that I like. So I will most likely start trying to beat games this year, a lot of single player games, or if we can play multiplayer games as well. I think one of my goals this year is to try to beat games. Even though I can't win, I gotta let Chase know that he's not the only one. Gotta let him know. So, but that's all for me. So I'm gonna kick it over to Joe, who's gonna talk about Shonuff's Retro Recon. I'm assuming this is a game that you played over at Nick's house, huh? Because I know Nick's got the fresh hookup.
Yeah, no, I went and basically just started picking out games on MAME on one of Nick's cabinets because Nick called me over. He was working on a cabinet. He was breaking down a Defender cabinet he picked up on the cheap, and he's parting it out basically. So it's like, and Nick is a wizard because that's what he likes to do. He's actually going to rebuild another cabinet that's sitting in his backyard right now, but it has like a Neo Geo layout, and so he's going to pop in a board in there or something that will have a bunch of AES games or like a Neo Geo MVS games, on there. And he doesn't have any room for it right now, so he's going to bring it over to my house. I'm going to host it for a while. So
Oh,
So
damn.
if you want to come over and play some like Real Bout Fatal Fury Special or something, I'll have a cab at least here. I'll decide if I can have some room to put it in the actual house versus putting it out in the garage, but we'll take it from there. But one of the games I saw, I was just like going down the list, and I saw this game called Knuckle Dash, and it looked so cheesy as hell. It's a 1993 side-scrolling beat 'em up game from Toplan on
Toe
here.
plan?
Toplan, yeah. Toplan was the company in Japan that brought out like some shooters. They're known for like Truxton, if you remember that game.
Yeah, I do actually.
And they also brought out like Snow Brothers. So they also developed Snow Brothers and done other games like I wasn't aware because Konami published it, but they brought out like or developed like Twin Cobra. So if you remember Twin Cobra from back in the day. So, but this game looked straight up like it was like a belt scroller, just really bad like English dub, and you basically play as a bunch of professional wrestlers fighting against the Mad Bull Group organization to protect wrestling from corruption. So
As you do.
Yes, of course. So I guess that originally this game was started as a fighting game based on the Street Fighter 2 craze back in the day, but it basically became a beat 'em up at that point. So, and yeah, this game was just kind of nuts. I was kind of attracted because the attract screen had this like wrestler that looked like Elvis, basically. So on here, so yeah, yeah. At the beginning of the game, you were able to pick out El Plancha, which is a luchador, Michael Sobut, which is a Elvis Presley look at like Jack Brow, a Street Fighter, and then you're eventually when you get through the story, you pick up a ninja called Mr. Hayate, and then a American football player called Captain. So. And the game is nuts. Like I think the like some of the boss characters are just kind of it's like if someone took Rasputin and mixed him in with Brutus the Barber Beefcake is one of the bosses I was fighting on stage 3, I think. So yeah, he was like all like with a rose in his mouth going ooh, and had pink pants on and was playing up all the gay unfortunate gay stereotypes, and I was beating up minions like guys that he brought out, and they're all dressed like Miami Beach, like in Izod, like pink Izod shirts. So
as you do.
Yeah. So I think this game would be up your alley, Kev. So because it's like just crazy because you like trying to at various points in the game there's like wrestling rings and you're playing impromptu wrestling matches which almost play it's just like if someone combined like Double Dragon and a wrestling game or something. So and the thing looked just so crazy. It's just like it almost looked like someone tried to bootleg a game or something. So but yeah, it was released in the Western territories. It was Atari Games published it. So I never seen this before in the arcade. So it's like it was kind of cool to check that out at Nick's. And I put enough credits in there to beat the game and saw the ending. All 5 wrestlers were like just walking into the sunset after beating the big bad at the end. So it took me, I think, about maybe half an hour on there, but some of the like the attract screen straight up it's like Knuckle Dash, and like you see this guy's just bare chest, like this wrestler's bare chest, so it almost gave me some elements like if it was like God, what's the protein shooter game, Choaniki.
Oh, Choaniki.
Yeah, it kind of gave me some Choaniki vibes at least a little bit. At the end of each stage too, you had a thing.
The game.
Pretty much. You had a bonus stage where you're sitting here bashing the A button and basically getting back your health and beating another guy in his face. So you had to make sure to beat the button fast enough. And this is a 2-player game, so I'm assuming at the end of each stage, especially if you're playing with a friend, that whoever won got to beat the other friend's face in, basically. So quite enjoyed it. It's not like I think if this was on Arcade Archives or something, it might Be questionable whether it's worth $7.99, but it's definitely worth it on that MAME cab sitting there. Or if you have a way to play the ROM if need be, I think it kept my attention enough to at least go through a playthrough. I would be curious to play it again, especially with another player, play it multiplayer. So. Mm-hmm. So I wanted to also try that because Nick had on the same cabinet, he has a PC hooked up, and so through his Steam account, and I was playing some Street Fighter 6 on that cab, so it's kind of cool to play that with him and check it out. He picked up the season pass, and so I got to see at least Terry and at least with Street Fighter 6, and made me think about maybe loading Street Fighter 6 back on my PlayStation because it's been a minute. I was super excited to play. Played the beta, but I never really played the actual game once it came out. There was too much other stuff going on at the time, so might be something for me to check out. Have you played much of Street Fighter 6, Kev, or is that something where you kind of consider it as just like a lost opportunity kind of thing?
I had it and sold it because I just wasn't messing with it. I thought.
Yeah, I knew you had it for a while.
Yeah, I did have it, but I sold it. Street Fighter 6 is, I think Terry could have brought me back because Terry looks like a lot of fun to play. But at the end of the day, I need Dudley. Mm-hmm. That's my favorite Street Fighter character. I mean, to me, just like a Street Fighter game without Ken and Ryu would be to most fans, a Street Fighter game without Dudley to me is just as bad, and it doesn't look like he's going to be coming anytime soon. So no Dudley, no play for me. But if I found Street Fighter 6 on a deep discount, or if it was part of part of PlayStation Network Plus, then I would probably go back just to play Terry, because I think Terry and but more so Terry. I think his moveset fits really well in Street Fighter, and I have seen some really good high level Terry play in Street Fighter 6, and you can do some pretty dope stuff with Terry in the game. So Terry would be the reason for me going back to it. But the characters are fine. I don't understand like this the perfect projectile system that they've implemented. The dash cancel can be really abused in the game. So I don't know. But in all honesty, I'm just waiting for City of the Wolves.
Yeah, that's what's going to be good.
I'm going to keep it a buck. I'm just waiting for City of the Wolves. But if it came out on PlayStation Plus, when it comes out on PlayStation Plus, because I'm sure it will at some point, I will play it just to mess with Terry a little bit, if nothing else.
I'll see if I could find it on clearance for you. If I do find it on clearance, I'll definitely let you know. So
okay. I
did see it on the racks at Target, but I didn't check the price, but I don't think it was on clearance just yet. So that's my Knuckle Bash impressions. Definitely something I'll have to go back to.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out. I'll check it out. I'm sure it's on the Ken Hank. I will look into that. So we're going to move on to our next topic on our docket, and that's going to be our main event. And Dez has the mic, so go ahead, bro.
All righty. So, if you've been following us for a while now, you know that we have been doing a question from our listeners. And we've come to our last question, and we wanted to say thank you so much to everyone who has sent us questions. If you want to continue to send us questions, please do so. We love answering them. We love hearing from our listeners. So please join our Discord. Say something in the comment section on YouTube. Like and subscribe and share. And yeah. So the question for this week comes from Neon Octo, our good friend Christian, who says, "What changes would each of you like to see in future games?" I'll start. So the thing that I would like to see, and I think a lot of people would like to see this, is I know it's cool, and I know some of them are awesome, but I do not want to see. And I know this has probably never happened because it's too lucrative of a business, but no more microtransactions. Whether it's just cosmetic, whether it's just no microtransactions at all. And I'm talking about specifically like for costumes, skins, stuff like that. No, I think that should all be in the game, and it should be something that you can just get in the game. And I will pause and say maybe like for DLC content, if it's like a meaty DLC content, like stuff that came out for Elden Ring, that should be okay. I think it's fine for you to like do these sort of like smaller incremental continuing stories within the realm or the game world that you created. Fine, as long as it's a reasonable price and we're getting some bang for our buck. Fine, it's great, or how Shovel Knight did. Shovel Knight made three new games and then pivoted and made a dig game, like an incremental like digger game. So and how we like were the folks that did the Messenger and then Sea of Stars. Sea of Stars and the Messenger are connected. If you didn't know that, and you can actually continue the story from the Messenger into Sea of Stars, but they did a different genre. So things like that, I want to see. I do believe that there are other ways to make money in this industry, and I just hope that that will change and we won't have to be paying for these microtransactions. And I know no one's twisting anyone's arm to do it, and everyone can pay or play, and it's all in them. But just having them there, I think just is. I personally don't like it, and I know people say like, oh, it's a good way for it's a good revenue stream to keep these games going and stuff like that. But what about just doing really good games? Can we get some really good games? The next thing that I want to see is more love given to AA and indie games. Not everything needs to be a triple A, or quadruple A, or however many A's you want to put behind it. Not every game needs to be like that. They really don't. And I think the ballooned budgets for these games for these game development needs to stop. It just needs to stop. And I don't know how that they can do that, but it just needs to stop. And when you threaten, and they're threatening, and when you threaten $100 game that's coming out because that's supposedly the price for GTA 6, that's a threat. That is a threat. And again, I know the naysayers are saying, well, gaming is a luxury hobby. Gaming is this. Like, I get it, but damn, I know you're trying to get you're trying to capitalize on that hype and get that hype money, but damn, that game is going to be, hella cheap in like a year after it's released. So yeah, so
it'll be on clearance for $70.
Exactly, or even less than that. But that's the problem though, Kev, because it'll be on clearance for $70, but $70 is the price of a new game. So it's like what's the inflation? Like why are we inflating it by that much? It's just like
I'm gonna tell you, and I'm sorry for jumping in.
No, go ahead.
If Rockstar announces tomorrow that Grand Theft Auto 6 is gonna be $100, it will not matter.
Oh, I know.
Because there are some games now. What people seem to think is that, well, I'm saying, is it? Yeah, it's Rockstar. Rockstar is going to set the pace, and now everybody else is going to start putting out $100 games. It doesn't work that way. It's the same way with these companies that think that just because Call of Duty generates $1 billion in revenue, that every game that every other studio makes has to match that. And the fact of the matter is that there are just some games that are part of the culture. I mean, I mean, heck, man, they are speaking to different outside organizations about how people will actually be able to earn real life money in GTA 6. Like you will be able to host your own show, your own talk show through the game. I mean, at Grand Theft Auto has become it's like Fortnite. It's less than a game and more like a platform. So there is not going that does just if GTA 6 drops at $100, it doesn't mean that the next game, it doesn't mean that Intergalactic's going to be $100. It doesn't mean Wolverine's going to be $100. It doesn't mean that, Doom, the Dark Ages is going to be $100. Those games cannot command that type of price. But Grand Theft Auto can, and the reason it can is because it is the number one selling game, period. It's like it's like asking somebody why they climb Mount Everest. Well, it's because we can. Why are you charging $100 for GTA 6? And Rockstar is going to look at you and they say because we can.
Yeah.
But that is like lightning in a bottle type stuff. I mean, think about it. How much was Street Fighter 2 on the Super Nintendo when it came out? I paid 90, almost $100 for it back in the day.
That's crazy.
I know, but not every cartridge costs that much.
I know, but it sets a bad precedent.
It sets it. My disagreement is that it may set a bad precedent for games that are ingrained in the culture the way GTA 6 is, but the only other games that are ingrained that deep in the culture are free to play, like Fortnite and Roblox and what's that other blocky game they sold to Microsoft? Minecraft. Those are all free to play, if I'm not mistaken. GTA 6 is kind of like an isle on an island all to itself. So I don't think it's going to be setting any kind of precedent for future game prices.
Okay. Well, Kev, you've been giving us your thoughts, so why don't you continue on, my friend?
Okay.
What are some changes you would like to see in future gaming?
Well, I'm kind of already seeing it. I'm seeing the return of retro. Like, I am beyond excited for the Atari. I was just about to call it Atari's handheld. Like it's going to have proper controls for games like Breakout. It's going to have a paddle control built in. It's going to have a trackball built in for games like Missile Command. I'm really excited to see I think there's going to be a market for it. I'm really excited to see those older games be preserved and be able to be played with their default controls. That's another reason why I was just so disappointed that the Amico turned to ash, because the Intellivision, while there are tons of ways to play in television games, the best way is using that horrible ass controller, that was invented by someone who didn't like children very much, unfortunately. And with all the shortcuts and things that they try to implement, you can only play the most simple in television games that way. Everything else requires the use of a number pad. And I like the idea. I know we have those plug and play. Some of those, I know the Atari has, the 2600 has some plug and plays. There is an Intellivision plug and play that's come out. I forget the name of the company that puts them out, but I actually have one. My mom has. I bought it for my mom, and I bought myself one, but I have no idea where I put it. Uh, and it has a whole bunch of Intellivision games, and it's got the Intellivision controllers already in the system. It's a miniaturized Intellivision too, and I like seeing that. I want to see more of that stuff come to fruition. The the Ken Hank has shown me that there is just so much so much gaming goodness from so long ago that an entire generation has come up without ever being exposed to those kind of games. And I would like to see, and I know if you got a PC, you can emulate that stuff, but self emulation is a task for folks that are just into that, and I'm not one of those folks that are just into that. So I'm happy that products like the Ken Hank exist. I would really like to see a more direct effort from companies like Nintendo and PlayStation and Microsoft to bring those arcade classics back. Like I think archives is a great way to start. Another way is the Evercade with physical media, a physical media console. I have the Evercade Versus, which runs on these little cartridges. And when you buy games for the Evercade, you're actually supporting the original developers of that game. I think things like that are just absolutely fantastic, both for preservation, making sure folks get paid for the work that they did, even though it happened so long ago. But also for exposing a new generation. Gaming did not start with Super Mario Brothers.
Nope.
So I think that is great for showing folks where this hobby, the origins of this hobby. And I think products like the Atari handheld and some of its supporting peripherals is just absolutely wonderful. And I think there needs to be more of that stuff on the market.
Cool. All right. Well, Joe, I know you probably got a lot of stuff that you want to see, so let's go, buddy.
One thing I would want to see, and I've been seeing at least a little bit lately, is the see companies go back and treat some of the previous games in their back catalog with a little love. We've recently seen this with both Sega with Shinobi and also with Koei Tecmo with Ninja Gaiden, where they're going back in and re-releasing games and releasing new games. I want to see more double A games too. I think you stated that too as well, Des. I would love to see studios given a little bit more leash, that not everything has to be the quadruple A bangers. It's like, something like, I'm going to mention this, but you're going to probably laugh, but Skull and Bones probably overweight itself because of all this weight of expectations that Ubisoft tried to place onto the game, where, if they were just able to go in, make the game that they wanted to make versus the game that they had to make to justify a $70 price tag, the game kind of got weighed down. I mean, I almost would consider even bombs like Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League, whether, that's being pushed upon these studios by upper management, all these like games as a service failures on Sony first parties ledger as well, so I want to see at least a little bit more care to the creators. That way you're not looking at the pure profit at the start. You're looking at the fact that how can I get these creators, what kind of pitches can I get from my teams to be able to, to make a good varied catalog of games to play, so I bet you anything there's someone deep within Namco that wants to do a new Ridge Racer, but they don't see the ledger as far as the financial wherewithal on there. Make it a $40 game, make it a $30 game. You don't necessarily have to spend a ton of money on said items, So it's kind of sad to me to see, especially with some companies, especially first party companies, that I want them to give their creators a little bit more of a breadth of instance to where they could go in and do the games they want to create. They don't necessarily have to leave the company to go create an indie studio to be able to make the game they want to make. I want to see more Pentiments. I want to see more Hi-Fi Rushes. I want to see less just quadruple A, like, big budget, big shot calling type of games. So
Agreed.
on there. I want to see more genres come back that were in were popular at one time. It's not only just obviously old 16-bit and 8-bit arcade games. I mean, there's other genres of games, like, when's the last time have you really played a good RTS, especially on console? When's the last time you've played a good arcade racer? I mentioned that previously on this show as well. Even double A stuff, your Red Factions, your Outriders, just dumb fun video games that I want to play, and nothing that has like super the greatest, like, I'm going to sell 30 million copies of this game aspirations on there. I see Ubisoft's kind of, especially with their season pass stuff, especially with their bigger games, they're getting a little bit experimental on there. I would prefer they'd be experimental from the start, so, that's what I want to see. And maybe I'll have to dig into more indies just to get that fix with all these different genres, and maybe getting something new outside the norm to play as well. Also, too, I'd like to see at least a little bit more deference to physical games. I think the physical product with a code in the box, like Microsoft has been doing lately, is just
terrible.
It's a big disservice to everyone on there. Treat your games with some appreciation. I mean, I noticed lately there's been a big push within the Switch community to be able to pick up some of the more recent print runs of Switch games on there. I know, like, Video Games Plus have been advertising like, hey, we got this latest print run of Nintendo Switch titles, all with the latest patch on the cart. So like you're able to, if the apocalypse happens, or 30 years from now you want to play your favorite Switch game, and you don't want to have to connect to an online server to download the patch to get the complete version of the game, that complete version is on the actual disc or cart in that instance. So I think there should be at least a little bit more of a curation done by game companies. You kind of see this like with music. You get like a 20th anniversary like version of an album, or you get to see it's been remastered, or go back in and include like liner notes, extra tracks, like so on and so forth. I could see to where, especially if it's a really popular game, why don't you release not per se a greatest hits version with a crappy cover art or anything like that, but actually put on the box itself, this is the final version or the complete version of this game, and say it's including everything up to patch da 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 da. Or once a company decides that they're no longer going to update a game, maybe they'll release like another pressing, a physical pressing with everything on the disc, everything on the cart. I think that would help collectors out a lot. I don't know if it would help us out a lot. I don't know if Des, if you were looking at your Switch collection, are you going out and trying to curate, or is that interest you as far as trying to get the cart version with all the patches actually on the cart itself?
For Switch, yes, and that's only because the Switch, for whatever reason, they don't, and it's annoying as hell. Because the Switch is just not optimized to be that cool. I don't know why. Because it's Nintendo.
It's not just Switch. It's also with PlayStation as well. Because if you buy a game on launch, the game is going to get multiple updates. Then from there, so
yeah, but it's like it seems to happen more often with the Switch. So that's why I was like, okay, Switch, I see you there, but let's try and get let's try and get this full, this full game on the cartridge with everything that's necessary, all the updates, a complete game. Because remember, a lot of times these games are released and they need like day ones, they need this, they need something
Yeah.
else to make it work. And
Some games
so
are sold where download is required no matter what because there's not enough space on the disc for the actual game. I know that Jedi Fallen Survivor was recently a game like that. There was a couple other games that basically, even though they're not per se a code in the box or a code on the disc, it required a subsequent download for the game to actually work. Like, say, if something happened where if PSN was down or the network was down, if need be, some of these games cannot work off disk because the full game is not actually on the disc.
yeah, and that's
So
annoying as hell.
I wish these companies would just say, okay, let's put it on 2 discs, just stay out with it.
Yeah, that's just more money though. That's
Yeah, I know.
probably another reason why they're getting rid of discs and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
Money, honey.
That's it for me, though.
Cool. Well, thank you so much, Christian, for this fantastic question. And your listeners, if you're listening on YouTube or on your favorite podcasting, algorithm or whatever, let us know. Let us know your thoughts and answer the question, and we'll read them on an upcoming show, as we really like this stuff. So please do this for us. But what follows me is the Jabroni Gaming News.
All right. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome, sir.
All right. Good deal. First thing we're going to lead off with is there's some news out of Microsoft and with Xbox. So, basically, Satya Nadella came out and they basically stated that they're planning to have a new technology. It's a generative AI mode called Muse on here. Basically, that can quote unquote generate game visuals, controller actions, or both on here. In its announcement, Microsoft showed how Muse could generate game visuals using training data from Ninja Theory's 2020 game Bleeding Edge, of all the games to train AI to do. So,
okay.
So they used this particular method. It was like basically using the AI to generate levels on here using Bleeding Edge. I believe it was like 10 frames a second that it's generating the levels on, and it's like at 160p, but they're basically training the AI with the model with gameplay and controller actions of the entire play sequence. So here's a quote from one of the Microsoft researchers into this game intelligence team. In our research, we focus on exploring the capabilities that models like Muse need to effectively support human creatives. I'm incredibly proud of our teams and the milestone we have achieved, not only by showing the rich structure of the game world that a model like Muse can learn, as you could see in the video demo, but also, more importantly, by demonstrating how to develop research insights to support creative uses of generative AI models. So in 1 second of real gameplay, the model generated basic movement in geometry and recognizable character models on here. So, but we'll have to see. I know Satya said that basically that they'll be working on having a quote unquote catalog of video games using this Muse technology. So I just want, looking at this technology and looking at the way it's used, I want creators to be able to use AI if needed to help their creative process. But I do not have no desire to play any game that's just solely created by an AI algorithm. I'm sorry. Maybe one day in my life before I keel over and pass away, maybe it will happen. But um, I'd rather see games created by human beings. So they asked Take-Two Interactive CEO Strauss Zelnick about it. He says that AI won't lead to job losses, but he believes it could lead to increased employment. It Takes Two and Split Fiction director Joseph Ferris said that he thinks developers should work with AI rather than push against it, and called it both scary but exciting. So I know that Phil Spencer came and commented afterwards saying that this technology could possibly be used to revive classic Xbox games. So one of the questions about that, though, is that would you rather play an old game through emulation or through an AI filter, thinking like a remaster made by an AI program? To me, I'd rather one either play it emulated or remastered by someone that can curate the game with a little bit of TLC and a little bit of love if need be. So I don't know if a program like, say, Kev, if you're going to say, hey, make a new Mech Warrior or bring out Mech Warrior from the original Xbox, Mech Assault, I should say, with AI, I mean, to me, it's just, I hate to be the old man screaming at the cloud on this, but until it's actually a valid technology and we could see AI doing the heavy lifting on this stuff, I think this is, I don't know where this is going. I think this is very premature, I think. I don't know what can be done with AI in games. I don't see a future where, we'll see AI being used to create intellectual property. Well, what's your overall take, Des? I'll go to you first.
I do believe that the thought of seeing how we can work with AI is a better statement, because I don't think it's going anywhere. Well, I know it's not going anywhere. It's just not going anywhere. So finding a way that we can work with it and make it ethical, it will be a lot more realistic. So, but I do agree with you. Having a sole game created with an AI from AI generation, I don't want that either. I need to have some kind of human interaction or something, and you do know that even though an AI will create something, it learns. It will need someone there to basically tell it what it's doing is correct. So there will always be someone that is necessary or needed for QA, because even though AI can design the level, it's I don't think it's that close to be able to getting it right the first time. So there will always be a need for people to, for lack of a better term, check its work. And maybe this will, in some instances, make video game creation a lot more easier for people who are not a part of big studios. It might make it a lot easier for like you and me to create games. It might be able to bring down costs, hopefully. It probably won't, because that's just not, people will find another way to make a ton of, try to make money off of this stuff. So again, this is all wishful thinking, in the hopes that, and I know a lot of people are, don't think this is, right, but I tend to try to hope for the best in people. But again, you got to have someone who's going to be able to make sure that this is not exploited as much as it could be. I mean, there will be exploitation. That just happens normally, because people exploit each other all the time. We just need to find a way to make sure that it's ethical and people aren't losing their jobs, and which yeah, it's a giant cluster F of possibilities that could happen. Some good,
might
some bad, but I don't know, buddy.
might see more pocket pairs pop up, like Pal World, in of itself by
Um.
itself. I mean, I doubt it was AI created. It was more like it was
Oh, no,
like
no, 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 no. It was those characters were 100% AI generated. They basically put in a whole bunch of things that said, this is what a Pikachu looks like, and this is what this looks like. Give me a version of this that looks like this. Definitely, like 100%. That's what it was. It wasn't a full on copy and paste, but it was there. Let's just call it making a buck. Yeah, but it is my hope that and hope springs eternal that this is done ethically. And I know Christian's over there laughing or rolling his eyes, but yes, I do hope that it would be. But yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. And then you have to understand, like, there's no reason for them to have to be like open and honest with us, because they can tell us that stuff's being made with AI right now. They don't have to tell us anything. So stuff like that's probably happening already. They're just not telling us. So, because whatever they're reporting in the news, you can guarantee that they've already tried it, or they're thinking about it and people are just now reporting it. So yeah, I can only imagine what already is being created using AI. So, but yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot, Joe. So, but Kev, what are your thoughts, buddy? I know you probably got a lot of thoughts about this, because this is a really big sort of thing.
Well, we already got a purely AI created content. I joined a writers group a couple years ago, and they're holding a conference on AI created stories. So it's already being done.
Oh yeah.
You can download AI generated albums. Some of them are hilarious on YouTube. Some of them have created like these humor, kind of raunchy humor albums, and it's hilarious. Like Lawrence Welk does, Boys in the Hood. It's some of it is will make you crack up. But AI is a tool, and I'm
Yeah.
convinced at the end of the day, all we're doing is Skynet, is feeding Skynet. I do it. I use AI to help generate some of the things I sell online, as far as descriptions go. We all do it. Corporations are doing it, so we're all feeding Skynet, and then at some point it's just going to wipe us all off the face of the planet. But we are going to have, I don't care what Microsoft says, we are going to have purely AI generated games. Don't think for a second that they would not see that as a method to plump up Game Pass offerings.
Oh yeah.
You will have very small, maybe retro themed, perhaps arcade reimaginations. Like, I can see them coming up with a reimagined Defender for Xbox Game Pass and throwing it up there. And AI could do that no problem. And the basics of those old games are so simple, it really wouldn't be all that difficult. So we're heading toward that. We're definitely heading toward that. I don't think you're going to be. I don't think we're going to be seeing like God of War Ragnarok level AI generated games anytime soon, because at the same time as you feed it, the AI is going to put out work, and it's still learning. It's going to trying to interpret how humans think, how we perceive, how we perceive the real world, and it's going to be a struggle. I think we're still a long ways from that type of stuff, but it's already being done. And AI, I feel that AI is a tool to be utilized, but there's going to be abuses of it for sure. We just have to understand that whenever humans are involved with anything, there's going to be levels of abuse.
Oh yeah.
So it's going to cause job loss. It's going to cause all kinds of stuff, because there's going to be some unethical corporations that are going to find a means and a way to get a shortcut, see an opportunity for a shortcut into big profits. Don't think that they ain't going to jump on it. And it doesn't matter what corporation it is, because if they can find it, if they can see it, they're going to take advantage of it.
Yeah. Agreed.
All right, good deal. Okay, next news story I got, and we referred it earlier when Desmond was talking about Visions of Mana, but there is something going on at NetEase. So NetEase is a Chinese-based company. And if you remember, they were in a big buying spree about a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, and they were basically like almost like Tencent was buying a lot of studios or paying a lot of creators to come their way a bit. So basically, according to a news story from GameFile, which is Stephen Totillo, basically is stating that NetEase is basically told all their Japanese developers, the companies that they picked up, that that they're going to support their titles, but they're not going to give them any more money.
Wow.
How do you do that?
How do you do that? Yeah, that. Basically NetEase commented saying that all studios and projects are in constant review and evaluation, and NetEase will determine changes needed to be made throughout that process. So, according to an earlier report by Bloomberg, NetEase studios in Japan, including Negoshi Studios, have been given time to wrap up ongoing projects, but are not receiving any more funding. So some of the studios that got purchased by NetEase include Grasshopper Manufacture, which is Suda51 Studio. They also brought over Negoshi, which was the head of Sega's Ryu Gagogakoku, if I could say that 3 times real fast. Basically, the Yakuza team within Sega. He came over. He left Sega for NetEase, and so he's been working on something for them on there. There's also quite a number of different developers that have gone over with NetEase. There was a studio, I guess, that was started by Xbox veteran Jerry Hook that they basically separated from, called Jar of Sparks. There was another studio called Worlds Untold from Mass Effect writer Mac Walters back in 2023. They even were considering, according to the news article, killing Marvel Rivals before it actually came out. So there was some layoffs actually with Marvel Rivals. So they're basically going back in, and for whatever reason, they probably have spent too much money, according to them, and they're going to go back to where they're going to just be supporting their Chinese creators on here. So another studio that's under NetEase's watch is the same developer, Quantic Dreams, the one that brought out Detroit Become Human on here. So they own them outright. So, and I know they're working on that new Star Wars game that got announced on one of the Keeleys. I think it wasn't this last Game Awards, but the time before, that new Star Wars game. So I bet you anything they'll still be working on that, but who knows if that's within any sort of question as far as support is concerned. So we'll have to see what happens, but this might be a thing to where it's going to be just like with happened with. I'm trying to think of with what's the name of the studio that dumped all those studios in Europe?
Embracer Group.
Embracer Group. You got it. Thank you. I don't
You're
know
welcome.
why I had a brain fart here, but
Just
there was
you
a
can't remember
number.
everything.
Yeah,
It's
I
okay.
know. There's a number of different studios. NetEase's studio roster includes like new companies, including there was a new studio called Pincool, which had the Dragon Quest 8 and 9 producer. He started a new studio on his own. There was also NetEase Montreal, which has the creator of Watch Dogs doing a separate studio. There was a studio called Studio Flare, which had Blaze Blue producer. He left Arc System Works and was working with NetEase. And so it's like, yeah, it's just a ton of like basically creators that decided to take the dollar, take the cash, and now they're just kind of being left for broke almost in a way. So we'll have to see what happens with all this. But any thoughts, you guys, on this Chinese big balla now it's trying to take that golden parachute away from all these creators?
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. They're trying to circle the wagons, get their money taken care of before they're trying to let anyone else get any money. So I'm not surprised one bit.
I think I saw mention in the article the fact that the owner of NetEase, they basically said that due to shifting market conditions, they basically want any game under their books to basically either be a mega quadruple A hit, or they don't want to be bothered, basically.
See,
So
that's
yeah. There was kind of a change in philosophy from the owner, and kind of go from there. And it's like you basically go in with the best intentions to create a company from scratch and to be able to say, hey, I'm going to have this big creative company releasing all these stellar games, and just decide, okay, and unless you're a big profit maker, too bad, so sad, basically. So any thoughts, Kev, before we go and move on?
Not really. It's big corporation doing what big corporations do.
Mm-hmm. Of course. We'll see. I'm just hoping that Grasshopper manufacturer kind of make their way out of this and still continue to make games. So we'll see if some of these studios can transition to either independence or possibly acquisition. So we'll kind of take it from there. So, all right, another news. I thought this was kind of interesting. The upcoming EA game Split Fiction. As noted from that particular studio, from their games as Hazelights, as far as what they brought forth, they usually support the co-op campaign with a game code included with the game on there, so you could play with a friend for free. You don't have to necessarily have to ask your friend to buy a copy of the game. But one thing that's kind of cool about what's coming up with Split Fiction is that there's going to be a code included with purchase of the game that will work on any platform of their choice on there. So like say, Des, if you decide to buy Split Fiction for PlayStation 5 and you have a friend that wants to play on PC, either on Windows, Steam, or Epic, they could basically use your code to be able to play on the platform of their choice. So, or if, like, say, you have a friend that has only an Xbox in their possession and they want to play Split Fiction with you, and you buy the PS5 version of Split Fiction, you should be able to share this code. And with the Friend Pass, they'll be able to play with you with Xbox version of the game. So before with It Takes Two, the Friend Pass worked, but it worked only on the platform that you purchased it for. So,
I mean, that's great. I mean, you have people that are like companies that are doing stuff like this that are encouraging, hey, this is literally a buy one get one free.
That's pretty much it, yeah.
And so, that's pretty dope.
Are you buying Split Fiction, buddy? Huh? Pal, my friend?
Oh, well, I figured you'd buy
it. I'll play it at your house, so.
Okay. I mean, sure, I guess.
Mm.
I mean, it's a double A game anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, okay. Any thoughts on this, Kev? Are you looking forward to Split Fiction? I haven't played It Takes Two yet, so I'm not buying it at launch. I'm sorry, but
I probably won't be getting it. It to me, this kind of looks like something I would probably wait because you have to play it with a buddy, right?
yeah, you have to
Yes.
play with
Yeah.
someone.
See, yeah. Uh, my I it games like this, I just don't really have a player group for. So I'm probably going to be out on this game overall.
I don't know. You can play with Joe. With me, we can play it.
I mean, I don't know what y'all gonna what flavor y'all gonna be trying on. Y'all switch games like
That's
underwear.
True. That is true. So
yeah, I can't
yeah.
I can't be buying games based on what y'all are playing because
That's
I'll
true.
get it and then
Play it once and
play it once and y'all ain't touching it for the rest of the year. So
that's real. That is real.
I can't I have never been one to make gaming purchases based on what other folks are playing, and
Yeah, I don't blame you, sir. That's real. So,
but if Dez bought this game and say, "Hey, Kev, you want to play Split Fiction with me?"
I mean, I buy it, but I ain't buying it.
No,
because I'm assuming that the Friends Pass only works as if the person that bought it is activated the game. So it's not like I could start the Friends Pass and start playing it.
No, you'd have to play co-op.
I'd have to play.
Gave you the
yeah. So, yeah, I'm okay. It would have to somebody would have to buy it and then share the code with me because I'm not spending money on this. And I have nothing against the game. I have nothing against the concept. I just don't really have a player group for it.
Makes sense.
All right, good deal. Are you going to be buying it? Are you interested, Des?
I'm gonna buy it when you buy it.
Oh, you're going to buy it when? Oh, I thought you were going to buy it and share your Friends Pass with me, buddy.
You could buy it and share your Friends Pass with me. How about that? You're the one that loves games. I know you'll get it and you'll let me know. Hey Christian, I know you're watching or listening. You can get it, and we'll play.
There you go.
There you go. Don't have to worry about you at all, Joe. So there, you're neener.
Neener. All right. Hey, add some other interesting news to talk about. In a Hasbro intellectual call, Hasbro CEO Chris Cox, during an earnings call, announced that Saber Interactive is working with an Hasbro quote-unquote tentpole intellectual property, a AAA game. So Saber is collaborating on an all-new video game partnership. It's being done by the team that did Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2, combining high-octane single-player action and amazing multiplayer with Saber's Swarm Tech. This new AAA title, based on one of our tentpole IPs, is sure to be a hit. So Cox described the agreement as a co-publishing deal and clarified that the Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2 team will be handling the development of said game. So basically, if you want to know which IP that Hasbro might be working with this, do you think it's going to be Dungeons and Dragons,
Probably.
Magic the Gathering, Power Rangers, Transformers, G.I. Joe? I'm kind of thinking if you're looking at Space Marine 2, I think a new Transformers game from Saber is probably a good call on this one. So would you welcome, Kev, a new Transformers game by the Space Marine 2 development?
Yeah, I would, because Space Marine 2, and I need to go back. In fact, that might be the game I go back and restart and start playing through, since I've stopped playing Wolong from my backlog. Either that or Devil May Cry. Yeah, I could see that. I actually wouldn't mind a G.I. Joe Transformers crossover game. I think that could work.
That'd be dope.
So we'll see.
So
I'm glad that Hasbro is working with a legitimate team,
a reputable studio.
Yeah, there you go. Even though I know that Power Rangers game is supposed to be pretty dope too, the belt scrolling game, the brawler. So
I was thinking about getting that actually.
I was thinking about getting it as well. So they have a Super the Greatest edition for only $50 with a steelbook. So it's like, like I'm in it to win it. I'm getting ready. My plate. I'm gonna consume that steelbook. Yum 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 yum.
Lord Joe.
All right, other news. This might interest you, Des. That's why I threw in the
what?
What? Hey, guess what? Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2 are free on the Epic Games Store mobile app. So I guess, on the Epic Games Store, you're able to redeem a free game every week for the PC, but players can also claim a free mobile game through the app every month. So mobile versions of Star Wars KOTOR and KOTOR 2 can both be claimed for free between now and March 20th. So Epic Game Store mobile app launched last year and is available for Android and iOS, basically. And they have a free game every month on there. Normally I don't play on mobile, but I don't know if maybe playing KOTOR on the go on my handheld device, on my mobile device, is something that might be getting me into playing on my phone. I know with you, Des, you have a longer commute to work, and so would you be interested in dabbling in KOTOR again on your iOS device? No? You refuse? Not at all. Okay.
I don't refuse, but I'm not going to do it for the sheer fact that I have it on the Switch, and that's where I would play it. So I don't need to play it on my phone. I think it's great, and I think it's making it more. I think they're doing this is because there's been a long rumor that they're going to be doing a remake of the original one. So I think this is all part to this helps speculate, that it helps speculators continue to, speculate on rumors that we will be getting a new, well, not a new one, but a remaster of that game. So
they announced it like years ago on a Sony presentation.
You can announce that to your blue in the face, buddy. So until it actually happens,
rears its head. Yeah.
But I do think that is probably going to come at some point. So.
Yeah. Well, I think listeners, let us know. Do any of you guys out there play on mobile? I mean, I don't. I've never, I've tried numerous times. I've just never gotten and just never synced its hooks into me, quote unquote.
Mobile gaming?
Yeah, mobile gaming in general.
On like your phone, stuff like that.
On my phone, yeah. I just.
I have tried to play RPGs on my phone, but I just can't do it. Like I don't know what it is. I just don't want to do that. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I've never tried either, like a controller that you can hook up to your mobile phone and play stuff on your phone, or play it via like a remote play kind of situation. To me, gaming is on my couch or in my computer chair, and
or on the train.
On the train, yes, with my Steam Deck. So, all right, last news story for this episode. So, if you didn't know, a new Samurai Pizza Cats game is in development. So, Samurai Pizza Cats Blast from the Past will bring back the show's original voice cast on here. So, Samurai Pizza Cats Blast from the Past is coming to all major platforms with a Steam page already up. It's being published by Red Dune Games and being developed by Dutch studio Blast Zero, which is best known for their anime-inspired beat-em-up Jitsu Squad, which I own, and I thought that game was pretty damn cool.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. I played at your house. I thought it was fun too.
Yeah. So the game is described as a 2D action RPG, and players will be able to switch between the members of the Pizza Cats as they explore the world of Little Tokyo. Each cat will have their own abilities. So the first trailer for the game was also released, revealing that game will have a 2D art style designed to make it look like the original animated series. So we'll have to see if this game kind of is the bomb or not. The announcement of this game coincides with the show's 35th anniversary this month. And it's also announced that both the English and Japanese voice cast from the TV series are set to return for the game on here. I have never watched an episode of Samurai Pizza Cats, but any of you guys have any experience with the franchise?
I've watched it once.
Once, okay.
Yeah, like maybe once or twice I've watched it, but for the most part, no.
Got it.
I don't either. I have no experience with the series.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, I don't really think I'm.
Well, to me, it looks kind of a cool, like, Ninja Turtles riff. So, I mean, the game's cool. By all means, it's not like I'm going to go back and, see if there's any episodes available for me to watch from the series that came out 35 years ago. But
I think all the seasons are on YouTube. I heard someone talking about that.
You should, Joe.
Oh, really?
You might like it.
You never know. You never ever know.
Yeah.
All right. And one other thing before I close off the Jabroni Gaming news, Steam Next Fest starts tomorrow. So keep an eye out according to at least how many demos are going to be available.
A ton, supposedly.
Yeah, it was in the 3,000s as far as the number of demos available.
Yeah.
So according to the number is basically up to, let's see what it says here, 2,548 demos in total on the Steam Next Fest that starts tomorrow on there. I know one game I saw that I wasn't sure that they were going to have a demo, but Gothic, if you remember.
Oh, the remake,
Gothic,
yeah.
Yeah, they have a demo and it will be available tomorrow. There's also a demo of the mecha game that me and Des played in Japan called Mecha Break. It's been also at other like comic conventions here in the U.S., but they have a Steam demo that is actually out as we speak. It will be available for Next Fest. So definitely check it out if you want to see if there's a game out there that kind of catches your eye on there. So, and that is the Jabroni Gaming News for this episode.
All right. Game night takes place every Monday, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. That is the day and time that we set aside to play games with our growing Discord community. So if there's a game that you'd like to play either with us or other members of our Discord, please post the name of that game in our game night channel, and we will be more than happy to play that with you. And you might be asking, well, how do I join the Discord? The Discord, that's easy. All you had to do is head over to the app formerly known as Twitter, currently known as X,
Boo.
or Blue Sky, and head over to Gaming Vessels, GAMINGVESSELS. Click the link in the bio and you're in. We've got no merch to hawk to you, and we don't have a Patreon tier list you have to subscribe to. All we ask is you just be a decent person, likes talking about games, and I think you'll find a happy home aboard the good ship Gaming Vessel. Big shout outs go to Neon Ecto for providing the question of the week. As Des mentioned earlier, we have been asking for our listeners to submit questions to us, and we've thoroughly enjoyed it. It's just another way to add a little bit more meat on the bone of a standard episode. So big shout out to you, Neon Octo, and everyone over the past several weeks who have participated in our Ask the Host question series that we've been doing. Really appreciate it. Really enjoyed doing that.
Yes, thank you.
So that's going to bring episode 273 to a close. I want to thank y'all for hanging out, cooling out, chilling out without a doubt with us. So for Dez, a.k.a. the Bay Area Terror, a.k.a. the High Res Hater.
That's me.
A.k.a. the Cat Daddy, a.k.a. That Gamer Stepdaddy. And for Trader Joe, a.k.a. Jabroni Chief.
Yeah.
Which you might also know him as the Food Max of Gaming, who can maximize your gaming dollar. I am Shonuff71, a.k.a. Digadulamite.
Purple bling bling, y'all.
And we will be back next time, episode 274 for your ears. Peace.